Hi everyone. It's another beautiful day, and it's a day to think about people that are inspiring us and people that are our heroes and people that are doing what is right in this world, even if it seems a bit scary. And it's also time to think about bending so we don't break. Got my shirt on. Got my little space here with my candles and my pretty scarves and blankets, and I decided also to throw down a nice, it's not real sheepskin, but just a fuzzy blanket today on top of my yoga mat. And just, we're going to indulge ourselves in a little bit of stretching, a little bit of core building, a little bit of hip opening, and just a little bit of peace. So why don't you join me, and we can add some more of that fun stuff if you're doing it with your kids. So I thought we could start in a nice child's pose. And I like to do child's pose different ways, but today I thought we could spread those knees out nice and wide. So your toes are together, your heels are creating like a little seat for your bottom. And so you put your toes together and spread those heels out. And if this, add all the padding under your knees that you need to so that you're completely comfortable here. And then the best part of this pose is with those knees nice and wide. As you come forward, you can just relax that head to the floor, and that bottom is coming back towards those heels. It doesn't matter if it gets there or not. And if you want to make yourself more comfortable, you can use a pillow or you can use blocks or whatever and put it underneath your chest so that you can just completely surrender in this pose. And you're getting the benefit of opening up in those groins, opening up in those hips. You're getting a stretch through those glutes and also those hamstrings. And just find that comfortable place. Put all the padding and blankets and everything underneath you that make this a complete pose of surrender. And then you can just rest here and take a few deep breaths. You can let those arms just spread out nice and wide. You can turn your head to the side. If you do that, after a few breaths, just remember to turn your head to the opposite side so that you get an equal kind of a neck stretch. Just take a few nice deep breaths here. And feel your heart melting towards the earth as you surrender into this child's pose. And ideally, you can stay there as long as you want and just completely surrender. You can also bring your knees closer together, and that way, if you bring your hands behind you, palms up, it allows those shoulders to completely relax and drop towards the earth. And again, that pillow underneath your forehead, and just surrender to this pose. And you can always roll that spine up one vertebrae at a time, and then we'll just get that out of the way. But like I said, do that pose as long as feels good. It's a complete surrender. It's a time to tap into that deep belly breath and just let everything melt away. But for now, this is something that we like to do, I like to do at the beginning of each day to kind of warm up my spine. And it's getting into that nice tabletop position. So your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Your fingertips are wide spread. Your whole hand is working for you. And your knees are directly under your hips. And then that spine is nice and straight. And again, that neck, think of it as an extension. So you're gazing somewhere about a foot to a foot and a half at the floor in front of you, so that your neck is that nice long extension of your spine. And from here, you can inhale. We're going to drop the belly towards the ground, and those sitting bones are going to reach up high towards the sky, and our faces are going to lift up, and this is called cow. So if you're working with your kids, you can have cows in your garden. I know, it's a fun garden. There's all sorts of animals in it. Cows too. And then as you exhale, we're gonna arch the middle of that spine up towards the sky and let the top of the head drop down towards the floor. Think of those angry cats when they arch that back. You can pull that belly button back a little bit and get a little bit of a cleanse. And then again, inhale and use this with your breath. So as you inhale nice and slow, that belly drops down. Sitting bones reach high. And as we exhale, we're rounding up. Let that neck relax. Top of the head dropping towards the earth. Angry cat. And just do this several times to kind of wake up that spine. And so if you're working with your kids, you've got kitties in the garden and cows in the garden. What a cool place. So remember from the first day, we did that buzzing breath outside the garden with the flowers, there's bees. And then yesterday we added trees and birds. So today we're adding cats and cows. So again, we're here in that tabletop and we're just breathing into that cow, exhaling into that cat. And from here, we can get a nice shoulder stretch. So we're gonna take that right hand and we're just gonna inhale it up to shoulder height. And if you like, you can open up that heart and you're getting a stretch, a twist through the waist here as we reach up towards the sky with that right hand. Inhaling. And as we exhale, we're gonna thread that needle. We're gonna bring that right hand between the left knee and the left palm. And then you're just bending down, letting the side of your face come into contact with the ground and that right shoulder relaxing. So I'll get a better angle here. So you've threaded that needle and you're just getting a nice stretch through the back of that right shoulder. And just breathing here, surrendering, letting that shoulder get a deep stretch all the way through that shoulder girdle. And then inhale, and then we'll go for that opposite side. So we're gonna inhale that left hand just to shoulder height or higher and get that twist. Nice deep inhale. And then as we exhale, we're gonna thread that needle and come through on the opposite side, laying that left shoulder down and that left side of the face. And just feel that nice stretch behind that left shoulder girdle. Breathing deeply. And then right back up. So we've had a nice stretch there. Make sure you release your wrists every time. You can also always be on your fists if your wrists are a little bit sore or don't like that. And then what we can do is we can work on our cores. So from here, we're in that tabletop position. We're gonna inhale and we're gonna bring that knee towards that right shoulder. And if you're working with your kids, you can say, oh, look, the doggy in the garden found a tree, and you can guess what that dog's doing. So we're gonna stretch that right foot out to the side, straight out, and then you're gonna, if you don't have something in the way, like that chair, bring that foot straight behind you. And now it's just at shoulder height. You're getting some great core work here, so make sure your belly button is nice and gently tucked, and that foot is right behind you, just at hip height, no higher. And then we can bring it off to the opposite side for a little bit of a twist, gazing over that left shoulder. It's still only at hip height. And then right back and release it. And then let's inhale and do that opposite side. So we're inhaling that left knee up towards that left shoulder. Stretch out through that heel. And then point those toes down as that foot comes straight behind you. A little bit of glute work, core work for sure. And then as you drift that foot off to the opposite side, you can gaze over that opposite shoulder, that right shoulder. Doesn't matter if you're actually seeing your foot, you're just getting that stretch and also a bit of a twist. And then release. And you can flow through that a few times just to get that nice kind of twist along the sides, work in that core. And then we can sit up and we can release those wrists again. And we work so much with our wrists at our keyboards or whatever. So let's do some wrist exercises. And I'm gonna put a little pillow under my knees to take a little easy, or you can also just sit on your bottom while we work on our wrists. Come into that crisscross applesauce or that easy pose with those heels back towards the groin. And from here, let's just take those hands. We're gonna put a little pressure so those elbows are straight out And we're pressing those palms of the hands together all the way through their fingertips. You can bring that pressure just into those fingertips, and then think of that very first knuckle, that second knuckle, and that palm, and then release it and shake it out. Just act like your elbows are tucked into your sides and you're just shaking water off your hands from all that incessant hand washing that we're doing. And then we can take those tops of the wrists, pressing them together very gently. As you drop those elbows down, you're getting a nice stretch through the back of those wrists, that opposite direction. And then bring those elbows again, tuck them into the side. Those palms are facing towards each other. And then you're just gonna tuck your fingers underneath your thumb, your little fingertips, and flick, like you're flicking water. Just each finger, just sort of flick it off of that thumb. And then take those palms up towards the sky, and same thing, flicking. And then turn them down and flick. And then here we can take those palms out and flick. These are good exercises for the wrists because we're constantly typing at our keyboards, and they can help with that feeling through those wrists, the carpal tunnel type soreness that we can get. So make sure you release those. And then again, just shake that water off of those hands. We can do another little release for that shoulder girdle. We're gonna take our arms straight out, and we're gonna cross that right arm over the left, bend those elbows, and those back of the palms can come together, or you can just take your front of the palms together. Now, you're gonna get a stretch through the back of that shoulder girdle again. So imagine that you're inhaling and just those elbows are gonna reach towards the sky. You're gonna feel it through those shoulders. Sitting nice and tall, that belly button is still tucked, so you're getting core work here. And exhale them down. And do several breaths here, so let's inhale. Just those elbows rising up, not too high. You're feeling that stretch across the whole shoulder girdle. Exhale. One more time, inhaling. And exhale. And then release, bring those arms out, sort of wiggle them out. And then we're gonna go for the opposite side. This time that left arm crosses over right, bending, back of palms together or whatever. This is our eagle arms. So as we inhale, so there's eagles in your garden. As you inhale, bringing those elbows up towards the sky. And try to keep those shoulders pressed down away from the ears, not shrugging up next to your shoulders. Sitting nice and tall through that spine. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And bring it out. Shake it out. And inhale nice and tall, releasing everything. Bringing it down. One more time. Scoop up that energy. Scoop up that hope and that joy and that health that we're all sending out to each other. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. And this last little pose is something called hero pose. And I like to use blocks with this. Little kids don't need blocks because they're little bendy Gumby kiddos. And you remember how when you were a little kid and you used to just sort of sit with your feet flat and sit on the floor and just forever, and it didn't bother your knees and it didn't bother anything. Well, this is called hero's pose. So those legs are parallel, knees straight forward. Our bottom is sunk down. Our heels are right beside our hips. We're resting on the top of those feet. I understand that puts a lot of pressure on the knees. So a way to circumvent that is to bring some blocks underneath and sit on those. And if you don't have blocks, you can use pillows, blankets, whatever it takes. Stack them up as high as you like and find that comfortable spot. So now you're just sitting there and you can completely relax. Nice tuck of that belly button, hands resting on the knees, shoulders back, down, relaxed. That tailbone is in connection. Straight down, imagine it connecting you to the center, the core of the earth. And here, just see that forehead is smooth. Taking a nice deep breath. And think of heroes. Think of people that you admire. Think of all the people out serving, even now, in scary times. Think of the helpers. See that gentle smile on your face. Let your belly be soft as you breathe all the way down into that belly. And as we think of those helpers, on the exhale, just send out your love and your energy to them. And breathe it in as well. Breathe in strength and peace and health. And with the exhale, send it out. And just think of being the positive light in this time, that lighthouse. And think of all the people out doing that very same thing. In big ways, little ways. The light shining in me honors that light in you. It unites us all. Namaste.